AFC North looked like it might have been in the mud a couple of weeks ago, but after week 6 of the NFL season, things might start to be turning around for some of the teams. So the Steelers were on bye week. The division crown was up for grabs for the Baltimore Ravens, and they did indeed grab it. They're now 4-2 overall, 2-1 in the division. They get a 24-16 win over the Titans across the pond. They were in the London game early Sunday morning. It did look like it was going to be pretty smooth sailing for the Ravens after the first half, and maybe at the end of the day it sort of was, but I do think letting Tennessee get back into the game to the extent that they did was a bit disappointing for the Ravens in that second half. We had the offense completely shutting down. In the second half, you have the Titans getting a field goal, then Lamar throwing an interception on what looked like just a very poor throw. Maybe it was just some miscommunication with Rashad Bateman there, but that was deep in Baltimore territory. Titans getting a touchdown off of that to cut the lead to 5. Looked like the Titans might have been getting ready to grab the lead. They were driving the ball. They got past midfield just barely when Geno Stone gets an interception. So the Ravens defense once again coming in clutch for Baltimore. Tannehill throwing it deep into double coverage and Geno Stone making a nice play on the ball there. Kind of continuing the momentum that the Ravens had built in the first half as well. Ravens turning that into a field goal. And while that did keep it a one-score game at 21-13, that sequence definitely made it look like Tennessee had kind of the wind knocked out of their sails. After that, took a lot of the momentum that Tennessee had and just kind of squandered it there. You had Malik Willis coming in for the Titans as Ryan Tannehill was hurt, and the Malik magic just wasn't in the air for Tennessee on Sunday. The Ravens tacking on another field goal to make it a 2-score game, and the Ravens defensive line just making life miserable for Malik Willis, just sacking him over and over and over again. The Titans would get a field goal, but they ate up way too much clock, forcing an onside kick attempt. The Ravens got it and sealed the win. So I am a big believer in the Ravens defense. I feel like it was another impressive performance. Again, the Titans aren't necessarily, they haven't shown to be that great of an offense except for against the Bengals that 1 week. But again, I'm not going to take points away from a defense for just playing who's in front of them. But again, this offense, I don't like how they keep shutting down in the second half with a 2-score lead. That seemed to be an issue for the past couple of seasons now for the Ravens, and it just kind of keeps happening again and again, and that will lead to more losses if they keep doing that down the road as the games get more and more intense. And if they do that in the playoffs, again, that's just going to be a bad time for them. Their next game is at home against the breakout Detroit Lions. Certainly a battle of division leaders, so that's going to be an interesting one there. Then you have the Steelers down to second place, 3-2 overall, 2-0 in the division. They were inactive this week, as I mentioned earlier. They were on bye. They'll be on the road to face the Rams this Sunday. The rest of the AFC North winning definitely did not work in their favor. Right now, I have no clue what this Steelers team is or how they'll perform week by week, drive by drive, game by game, whatever. Yeah, I feel like they could get stepped on by the Rams, but I also could see them pulling off another defensively dominant game that keeps the score low and just, you have enough plays that are not called by Matt Canada to get just enough points out of the Steelers offense to eke out a W. I do feel like their bye week was pretty well timed, as the Steelers did have plenty of injuries heading into it. You have Pratt, Freiermuth, among others, getting healthier. It just feels like the Steelers have this sort of voodoo force field around them that prevents them from having a losing season. Their defense, like I said, they're usually dominant every single game. They're a huge part of that. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, a problem for every offensive line. I still just think that the Steelers' ceiling is very, very low due to their just a lack of ability to do anything on offense, because I feel like Matt Canada just holds this team back so much. It feels like everyone knows this except for the Steelers organization, I suppose. But we'll see if their momentum from the Ravens win and just having the week off, if that carries over to the Rams. We could very well be seeing a surprisingly 4-2 Steelers team after week 7. Then we move on to the third place Browns, improving to 3-2 overall, still 1-2 in the division. They get a shocking 19-17 win over the 49ers in Cleveland. I did talk about this game on Sunday after it happened. I thought this was a very Steelers-like game. I guess with Pittsburgh on a bye week, somebody had to take the mantle, where just a great defensive performance from the Browns defense yet again. You had basically the bare minimum amount of offense with PJ Walker at the helmet quarterback, and just the right amount of luck and just kind of hoping and praying for Jake Moody to miss a 41-yard field goal to win the game for the Browns at the end. The win definitely in favor of the home team, Moody missing 2 field goals. And for the Browns, I do feel like getting Dustin Hopkins late in the offseason has worked wonders for the kicking game earlier this season. Dustin Hopkins did miss his first field goal attempt, but he did go 4 for 4 for the rest of the game, including a 50-yarder. So Dustin Hopkins making the field goals that he definitely had to make. The Browns came in banged up. Deshaun Watson not being there was a big story. They're also missing Joel Bitonio for the first time in forever. But San Francisco, they got more and more injured as the game went on. You have both Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey both leaving the game with injuries. Trent Williams going out and then coming back in. Perhaps he wasn't 100% with that ankle getting taped up. I do feel like PJ Walker showed that he's a better backup option than DTR, as PJ could move the ball within the offense. Maybe that was just Kevin Stefanski having a bit more time to prepare an offense for PJ Walker, as with DTR, they didn't know Deshaun Watson was going to play until about 2 hours before the game even started. PJ Walker, he moved the ball. He did throw 2 pretty bad picks. He is still definitely going to be the backup quarterback moving forward. I feel like any sort of, is PJ Walker a better quarterback for the Browns moving forward? I do feel like that's getting into kind of ridiculous hot take territory there. Kareem Hunt does seem to have taken over the top running back position. He does seem to be getting a bit more of the reps than Jerome Ford is. And obviously, Deshaun Watson's shoulder injury, still an issue. The Browns and Kevin Stefanski saying that he's still day-to-day. They're hoping he can play against the Colts, but they've hoped that he'll be able to play in the past couple of games now, and that hasn't worked out. So I just think if Deshaun Watson is too hurt to effectively play, then they probably should sit him. It's just kind of frustrating that it's been this kind of week by week, day by day. Nobody really seems to have any idea as to when he'll actually return to the field. There's been no really conclusive sort of statement from the Browns on when they expect this to be a non-issue. The Browns' next game is on the road against the Colts. Could be a battle of backup quarterbacks, as Gardner Minshew is still in with Anthony Richardson still out with his shoulder injury. I'm seeing more and more reports that it's likely they'll opt for season-ending shoulder surgery for Anthony Richardson, so not a good way he want his rookie year to go. And then you have the Bengals still in the basement, but again, they're climbing those stairs to get out. They improved to 3-3 overall, still 0-2 in the division. They get a close win over Seattle, 17-13 at home. Looked like the Bengals might run away with it early, responding to the Seahawks' opening touchdown drive with one of their own, then forcing a punt and taking a 7-point lead on their second offensive drive. But Seattle's defense settled in. The Bengals offense didn't get a whole lot going for the rest of the game. But the Bengals, they get a win for the second time this year off of the back of their defense. There were 2 second-half interceptions forced by Cincinnati that were crucial to this game. One of them, the Seahawks were in the red zone, so you figured that the Seahawks were at least getting a field goal before that interception by Hilton. The other interception giving the Bengals a field goal off of the return after the offense went 3 and out. So a big return from Taylor Britt, getting the Bengals in field goal position with the offense not really able to do much on 3 straight passes. Both of those definitely impacting the score either way, preventing a Seahawks score and helping the Bengals tack on 3 more points. And given the circumstances, those momentum swings definitely huge for the Bengals there. The Seahawks did get a final drive with a chance to score, but the defense, they held in a goal-to-goal situation late in the fourth quarter. Good on the defense for holding the Seattle offense to 13 points and, again, getting that stop on that final drive. The Bengals, they're in a scenario where they just have to accumulate wins. I don't think the Bengals right now are really in a position to be picky or concerned with how they get them. Now, sure, I suppose for the long-term future for this season, you'd much rather see an offensive explosion or some kind of crazy game from Joe Burrow. But at this point, again, a win is a win. Maybe the Bengals, they can start to lean on their defense a bit more than I and many others expected them to be able to heading into the season. I do think if you have aspirations of a deep playoff run, then you really do need that offense to kind of get a kickstart against a team that's not the Cardinals. But the defense is helping them keep pace in the division and in the future wildcard race as well. Despite the Bengals still technically being in the basement of the AFC North, they are very, very close to even first place. So every team has something to feel good about after this week. Everyone is 500 or better. Each team is coming off of a win heading into Week 7. The Steelers were on their bye week, but they got a win against the Ravens the week before. And I do feel like every fan base does have, they do have some evidence now as to why their team can make a legitimate run to win the division and maybe use that to spur on a deep playoff run, or at the very least compete for the top spot in the division and make a wild card spot and make some noise in the playoffs. But you guys can let me know what you think, how the AFC North race is going to shape out down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you did make it this far, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it and you'd like to see more like it. Once again, thank you for watching. I will see you at the next one.